before you watch the video, consider subscribing. We are on our way to 1 million subscribers. But before we get there, we got to get to 1,000. And before we get there, we got to get to 400. Got the hiccups. I apologize. So please consider subscribing. So I was actually upstairs about to open this package, and I said, you know what? Let me actually do an unboxing and maybe add this to some type of quasi-review or first thoughts or initial impressions. I recently purchased a Mac Studio, and one of the biggest reasons that I was hesitant to get a desktop is the fact that currently I'm using a dock, and my primary computing device is a laptop. So I'm able to connect a single USB-C cable to the laptop that runs from the dock. And as I'm switching laptops, it's never an issue. But with Macs, well, let's say the Mac Mini, which is what I had at one point in time, in order to get any type of video out using that same type of setup, I'd have to reach to the rear of the machine and swap the cable that way. And honestly, it was just a huge inconvenience. It wasn't the end of the world or anything, but it definitely made it so that I found myself using the Mac Mini less and less. As I mentioned in my Mac Studio video, what really bothered me is the fact that there are those two USB-C ports on the front of the Mac Studio, but because Apple does what Apple does, I'm sure they want us users to think that because those ports in the front aren't Thunderbolt ports, they shouldn't be able to output video, which, as I showed, I had my Lenovo ThinkPad T14, and which has an AMD processor in it. Those two USB-C ports aren't Thunderbolt ports, yet I'm still able to send video out of the machine through those two specific ports. I don't have it anymore, but the iPad Mini that I used to have, which has a USB-C port on it, allows for video out through that port, even though it's not a Thunderbolt port. So I figured, hey, I might as well do something about it. And a friend of mine reminded me that KVMs existed. And in fact, I think I might have brought it up to her, and I told her that I wouldn't want to get one because the KVMs that I'm used to are kind of bulky devices. You need individual cables for each individual thing that you're trying to use. So of course you have, at the time I had wired keyboard, wired mouse. Then from each machine you needed some type of video port. Then you needed the cables to make sure that the USB signals were able to be sent and received from the machines. It was just a lot. But I forget what the exact conversation was like, but yeah, she definitely reminded me that, oh yeah, even though I talk about USB-C all the time and how versatile that port/cables are, why didn't I think that USB-C KVMs existed? And they do. So here we have it. And I got the box right here. And I already opened the initial outer box. And let me back up a little bit. But one thing I would like to say is I always appreciate simple but purposeful packaging. On the outside, it's a nice clean tape. Nothing that you really can see. But when I open it, like you can tell that this person cared about sending out this product. And that's how I feel too when I'm sending stuff on eBay, that hey, even though it's technically no longer mine because you paid for it, I want you to feel like I value your time, your money, now your products as they are being sent to you. So I definitely appreciate this particular user wrapping it in such a manner. So let's open it. And furthering, yes, the amount of packaging that's on here. Yeah, so you had the brown paper acting as a cushion, as insulator and all that. Then you have the actual bubble wrap. And here we have it. This is the Anker 554 USB-C docking station KVM switch. Quite a mouthful right there. I will say, and this is what was interesting, is that they make one of these that is for 2 laptops, and then they make one of these that is for 1 laptop and 1 desktop. My assumption is that even though this is the one that is for 2 laptops, because I'll be using a USB-C port that is a full service port coming from the desktop, it should act the exact same way. It's my guess, but we will find out. So let me go ahead and open it. This was actually brand new. I got it from a user on eBay, but it's still factory sealed, and I guess it's just something that they no longer wanted or needed. I don't have a fancy knife, so I'm just using my my thumb to get through this packaging. There we go. Mm-hmm. For those of you who like those sounds. I should probably have something above me, but I don't, not here. So this is what we're working with. So let me go ahead and take everything out of the box. Okay. And inside the box we have what I imagine right here is the KVM, and I can imagine this box right here is most likely the power cable / brick. No, actually that was just the cable. Looks like that's a little button that you press to switch the inputs. Underneath, this box is kind of heavy. So yeah, in this box, I guess, is where the power stuff is. So we got cable right there. Looks like some literature. Yeah, the quick start guide. And the actual brick right here. 180 watts. Okay, so yeah, 180 watts right here. So let's open the actual KVM. All right, so here we have the front, technically. And on the front, let's see, we have one USB-C port. Looks like it's I don't want to say power delivery, but it looks like it can charge, but it sends data at 5 gigabits per second. Then we have 2 USB-A ports, also sending data at 5 gigabits per second that can also charge. Then we have I'm going to guess this is a USB 2.0 port, since there's a little icon of a keyboard and a mouse on top of it. For people who have a single dongle that allows to connect, or for people who have that single dongle that connects the keyboard and mouse, that's perfect. I don't have that right now, so unfortunately I'm going to have to use one of these faster ports for my keyboard or mouse. On the back, we have the 2 USB-C ports to connect your PCs. And again, even though that there are 2 laptops here, I'm going to assume that using the Thunderbolt ports on the back of the Mac Studio, it should work as it should. And then we have 2 video out ports, which an HDMI and a display port. We have the DC in port, and on the side there's actually a headphone jack, combination headphone microphone jack. And yes, a nice little power button as well, so that's nice. This cable connected over here is what you would press in order to switch inputs. All right, and that's pretty simple. The only thing I'll say in terms of the build right now, which it feels solid, is one, when I have cables like this that aren't removable, it makes me a little nervous. I'm sure it adds to the cost of manufacturing to have a removable cable, but this is something that I'm sure could get damaged. I mean, anything can get damaged. So it'd be nice if I could just say, oh, let me buy another one of these cables I can just plug in and automatically do what I need to do. I am curious as to what the internals look like, and I will not be taking it apart. But yeah, I am curious to see what the insides look like. And maybe, yes, just some simple soldering would allow a user to actually swap this cable if it actually got damaged. Oh, great. And yeah, I wasn't too sure what else they included, but there are two USB-C to USB-C cables that are included here in the box. So that's great. I was actually knowing that I needed some, and I was like, oh crap, when that KVM comes, am I going to have to go buy some more cables? So thank you, Anker, for including two of these in the box. There is no HDMI or DisplayPort cable. That is something I would have assumed they would have included, but they don't. My guess is they're probably like, well, you're already using the machines that you have currently anyway, so they're connected to your monitors somehow, so use your existing cables. Some people might not have USB-C to USB-C cables laying around, so again, thank you, Anker, for including these in the box. Well, that's all. Um, like I said, I'll either just make this a standalone video or I'll wrap it into the unboxing slash first impression slash review slash whatever you want to call it. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll talk to you later.